MINDFULGym Lesson 2 Part 1, Mindfulness or Awareness of Stress. So the objective of this session is to provide you a brief understanding of stress, definition of stress, biological changes associated with stress, symptoms of stress, and the negative effects of stress. So what is stress? Stress is actually a general term, a very general term that we use to refer to the tension that arises when we are coping with the changes and challenges in life. Yeah, it's a very general term. It's not necessarily a problem. In fact, we need stress for productivity. Stress might not be a problem, but excessive stress is the one giving us a lot of problem. Yeah, the MINDFULGym program is designed for us to cope with excessive stress. Stress itself, not a problem. Excessive stress is a problem. And in the recent nationwide Malaysian National Health and Mobility Survey, this was done about 5 years ago in 2005, it was shown that 1 in 3 Malaysians experience excessive stress. And of course, with the pandemic, this is getting worse. Yeah, so that is the general definition of stress. In mindfulness training, our aim is not to be free from stress. Our aim is not to get rid of stress. We know that is not possible. I think all of us here, we have lived long enough to realize that we can never be totally free from stress in life. In fact, trying too hard to be totally free from stress, that itself is stressful. So MINDFULGym program is helping us to cope with stress wisely. It's not to get rid of stress. During the pandemic, everyone is stressed out. But not everyone suffer. Everyone is stressed out, but not everyone suffer. If we can learn how to cope with stress wisely, then we don't suffer. So from a MINDFULGym point of view, stress is something normal. It is part and parcel of life. Yeah, so it's something unavoidable, inevitable. Stress is part and parcel of life. But suffering is optional. Suffering is something additional. So hopefully after joining this course, we can learn how to apply the various mindfulness-based exercises to help us to cope with stress, then we don't have suffering. When we talk about excessive stress, most of us will relate to stress as something mental, That's only half of the truth, because in stress, there's a mental component, there's also a physical component. So stress is not just mental changes. In stress, there's also a lot of physical changes. And one of the physical changes is the release of various stress hormones in our body. Yeah, so I'm going to show you a video clip to demonstrate to you that stress is not just mental. When we experience stress, there are a lot of hormonal, a lot of biological changes in the body. So let's watch this video clip together.
The stress response. In stressful situations, the body switches on its autonomic nervous system and neurobiological processes in an attempt to maintain homeostasis. The body is prepared for its reaction to stress. In the brain, the hypothalamus is connected to the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus, stimulated by the sympathetic nervous system, releases the hormone corticotrophin-releasing factor, CRF. The CRF activates the pituitary gland to release the adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. This in turn alerts the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are located on top of each kidney. The ACTH from the pituitary gland stimulates the adrenal cortex to release cortisol. At the same time, neurons in the hypothalamus signal the medulla to release epinephrine, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, noradrenaline. These hormones then push the body into hyperalertness.
See, stress is not just mental, there's a lot of physical changes. So our body produces a lot of stress hormone when we are stressed out. And by definitions, hormones are found in the blood and it can circulate into each and every part of the body. This is the reason that when we are very stressed out, our immune system will go down and we tend to fall sick very easily. In my clinic, when I do psychoeducation to my patients with stress, anxiety, depression, I like to use this term called Sakit syndrome. Sakit syndrome, pain all over the body. And the reason when we are under stress, we have pain all over the body, we have all sorts of sickness. One of the reasons is because of the stress hormones. These stress hormones, they go into every part of the body and can cause illness in almost every part of the body. Besides the hormonal system, when we are under stress, we also activate the sympathetic nervous system in the body. The sympathetic nervous system in the body, and the nerve in Chinese is called 神经线. The nerve is also just like hormones. Nerve is found in every part of the body. This is another explanation. When we are under stress, we experience all sorts of physical illness, all sorts of stress-related conditions like gastric pain, headache, sinus problem, menstrual problem, name it. Every part of the body can be sick when we are under stress. And so this is the second explanation. The first explanation of the psychosomatic symptom, the Sakit syndrome, is due to the stress hormones. The second explanation is the overactivation of the sympathetic nervous system. This slide is for reminding us that stress is not necessarily a bad thing. Remember in the earlier slide, I defined stress as just mental tension. It's a very general thing, mental tension, when we are coping with changes and challenges. Only when stress is excessive, it becomes bad. So normal stress level is not a problem. So in this curve, known as a Yerkes-Dodson curve, if you look at the x-axis, the x-axis is on the level of stress, and the y-axis is on our performance level of productivity. You see, when stress level is too much, productivity drops. When we're having too much of stress, when you'll be very anxious, very kanchiong, we'll be very disorganized in our thoughts, we cannot think clearly, say productivity goes down. On the other hand, when the stress level is too low, you notice that performance or productivity level also goes down. So when there's not enough level of stress, you become very sleepy, especially at this hour, Sunday afternoon. We tend to get very sleepy. There's lack of alertness. So too little stress also no good. So this slide is to highlight to us the importance of having an optimal level of stress. So this medium level of stress is also called the optimal level of stress. Optimal level of stress is optimal for productivity. So it's not too much, not too little, just good enough so that we can maintain our productivity, we maintain our alertness. So when stress is too much, we can end up with all sorts of side effects. For example, it can affect our physical health, it can all sorts of physical problem. Of course, it can affect our mental health, it can end up having anxiety disorder, panic disorder, major depression, and so on. Of course, it affects our productivity, our studies, and also our interpersonal relationship. So the take-home point is we need optimal level of stress. Not too much, not too little. In order for us to have an optimal level of stress for productivity, of course, we need to be mindful or aware of our stress symptom. We want it to be optimal, not too much, not too little. In order to be optimal, we need to have a way to monitor our stress symptom. So this slide is on the monitoring, the awareness or the mindfulness of our stress symptoms. In the MindfulGym program, I classify the excessive stress symptom into 4 categories. The thought stress symptoms, feeling stress symptoms, bodily stress symptoms, and behavior stress symptoms. Let us go into a little bit more detail. I will give you an example on each category. Okay, thought, feeling, body, behavioral stress symptom. Under the category of thoughts, thought stress symptoms, the thought stress symptom can be in the form of worries, excessive worries, thinking a lot about the future, worry about the future. It can be in the form of forgetfulness, poor concentration, poor memory, a lot of doubt, a lot of indecisiveness. All these are under thought symptom. And this is very harmful if you are a student or doing anything that use a lot of cognitive power, a lot of brain thinking power. If you have these thought stress symptoms, it's very difficult for you to study, for you to do well at work, to have a productive work. Second category of stress symptom is the feeling stress symptom, and it can be in the form of sadness, panic, fear, anger, impatience, frustration, and emptiness. So these are under feeling. Feeling are more subjective, whereas thoughts are more experienced, more of in the head. Yeah. Now, of course, we have the bodily stress symptom. For example, heart pounding very quickly, breathing difficulty, rapid breathing, muscle aches, sakit, easily tired, gastric pain, and a lot more. Behavior symptom can be in the form of appetite change. For some people, when they are stressed out, they will overeat, whereas for some people, they will lose their appetite, they don't eat much. Some will keep quiet. Some will keep quiet. Some will tend to talk a lot. Some will go into dangerous behavior, reckless driving. Sleep disturbance is also another stress symptom. Again, for some people, they will tend to sleep a lot. For some people, they have difficulty in sleeping. Smoking a lot can also be one of the stress symptoms. A lot of people are using smoking as the way to cope with stress. So these are the 4 categories of stress symptoms. It's important for you to be mindful, be aware of your signature stress symptom, because the combination of symptoms can be different for different people. So you need to be aware of your own unique stress symptom. For example, for me, I know my stress symptoms well. I tend to have a lot of bodily symptoms, especially in the form of gastric pain. So I tend to have this gastric pain, of course, muscle ache, muscular tension. Feeling, I tend to feel impatient when I stress out. Thought will more of doubting. I start to doubt myself, whether whatever decision I make, whether it's good or no good. And for my behavior, I tend to keep quiet. So those are my symptom, my signature stress symptom. So as part of your homework, I suggest you spend some time to journal, to monitor your symptoms and journal, write down your typical stress symptoms. If you have any questions, just keep your questions. Afterwards, we're going to have a Q&A session. Yeah. So I've talked about mindfulness or aware of stress symptoms. Okay, now I will expand our awareness of stress to include 3 more things with the help of a modern psychology tool known as Kabat-Zinn hot cross bun. So we're going to expand our mindfulness. So the earlier slide is basic mindfulness. It's just to be mindful, aware of our stress symptom. This one, you're going to go a little bit deeper. And we're going to combine, the way we're going to do it, we're going to combine the principles of mindfulness and this modern psychology tool known as the hot cross bun. Yeah. So in mindfulness training, we can watch our mind during stress using a mind mirror. So this is how you can do it. Okay, you imagine there's a mirror in front of you, and you can see your stress symptoms in the form of thought stress symptoms, emotion stress symptom, behavior stress symptom, and bodily sensation stress symptom. Okay, this is similar to the earlier slide on the 4 categories of stress symptom. But in this mind mirror practice, we're going to go a little bit deeper. We will try to be aware of 3 other things. Okay, what are the 3 other things? The first one is the awareness of situation or stress trigger. Situation or stress trigger means what tends to stress us out, what makes us stress out. Okay, for example, it can be work, it can be studies, can be relationship, can be parenting issues, or can be health condition. So that is the first awareness of situation or the stress trigger. Okay. The second one, we can also be aware of interaction. Okay, what I mean by interaction is the interaction between thoughts, emotions, behavior, bodily sensation. You say all these interact with one another in response to situation. So the second awareness is awareness of the interaction between these 4 in response to situation. Okay, I'll give you an example. My mother recently was diagnosed with shingles. In Chinese, shingles is called 伤血. 伤血is a skin condition. Okay, skin condition. That is her situation. So the situation is shingles, 伤血, some health condition. Okay, it started off with some rashes over her chest area below the breast. Okay, and her thoughts. So I'm giving you an example of my mom's stressful situation. Her thoughts is because she get the skin condition near the chest area, she thought she have a relapse of breast cancer. My mom is a breast cancer survivor. So she thought, die lo. She must be having a breast cancer relapse. So that's her thoughts. Situation is shingles, skin condition. Her thoughts is, it must be a breast cancer relapse. Then of course that leads to a lot of anxiety emotion. And with the anxiety emotion, she has a lot of body sensations. The heart palpitation, be a headache, a lot of body discomfort, and then also affect her sleep. Okay, and that of course affect her behavior as well. She's very scared. She call all her friends. She will call all her friends, uncle, aunties to ask about the condition. And when she get too much information, there's also information overload. She scare herself further, and she have more anxiety, more the worries, and more thoughts, and just go around and round. Yeah. Okay, so you can see how the interaction, the thought, feeling, behavior, bodily sensation, they can interact with one another to make our stress worse. Okay. The third thing that we should try to be aware of is to be aware of past experience, how our past experience can condition all this. Again, using my mom's experience as an example, my mom, as I said, she had breast cancer. She's a breast cancer survivor. Not only that, my mom actually went through a lot of challenges in life. She had a hard time, and she also got many diseases. So breast cancer is only one of the many diseases that she suffered. And because of the past experience, it's very easy for her to have stressful thoughts, feelings, behavior, and bodily sensation. It's very easy for her to overreact to a situation and make the stress worse. So this practice is called the mind mirror, and this is very important. The ability to be aware of stress symptoms, the triggers, the interactions of the thoughts, emotion, body sensation, behavior, and how they are conditioned by past experience. It is very important for handling stress wisely. This is particularly important if you are going for any counseling or psychotherapy. Awareness of this is very helpful in helping us to cope with stress wisely. Okay, let's move on. If you find the mind mirror practice a bit too complex, no worries, I don't want to stress you out. That is for those who want to be aware of stress at the deeper level. Okay, if you think that is too complex, it's okay. Just keep the basic. Just be aware of stress level is enough. No need to be aware of the interactions and how the past causes and condition the current stress symptom. Just be aware of stress level we do. And we can do it with a mindfulness tool known as StressMoMeter. StressMoMeter. So in the mindful stressful meter practice, what we do is we take a break on and off to check on our stress temperature. Stress temperature. How do we do that? We can do that by pausing and asking ourselves. For example, now we can take a pause, take a break, take a pause, and we ask, how does my mind feel? How does my body feel? How does my mind feel? How does my body feel? Just take a pause, take a break, be aware of the bodily sensation, be aware of how the body feels, and be aware of how the mind feels. Just checking it into the mind and body. Okay, so we ask ourselves, are we stressed out? Are we relaxed? Okay, if we feel there is stress, and then we ask ourselves, is the stress level high, medium, or low? So this is a very simple way to be aware of our stress. And since these days we are using the MindSejahtera app again and again, we can use the MindSejahtera app as a way to remind us to check on our stress level. After all, remembering is part of the mindfulness definition. Still remember last week in the definitions of mindfulness, mindfulness remembering to pay attention. So each time we use the MindSejahtera app, each time we check on our physical temperature, we remind ourselves to check on our mental temperature as well. So I call that the mindful StressMoMeter practice. Take a pause, take a break, ask, how does the mind feel? How does the body feel? One of the frequently asked questions when I do sharing on stress management, one of the frequently asked questions is, what's the difference between stress, anxiety, depression, and anger? So I will try to answer that. As I mentioned earlier, stress is a very general term. Stress is a very general term. It just refers to tension. And stress can be in the form of anxiety symptom. Stress can be in the form of depression symptom. Stress can be in the form of anger symptom. So stress is very general. Okay, it can refer to any of those: anxiety symptom, depression symptom, anger symptom. But when stress is excessive, when stress is too much, especially until it affects our daily functioning. So when we can't work, we can't study, we can't have meaningful relationship, we affect our life so much, then we call it an anxiety disorder or depressive disorder. I hope this. I hope you understand this. So excessive stress, when we can't function, that leads to anxiety disorder or depressive disorder. Of course, under anxiety disorders, there are also many types. You've heard of things like generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. They're all under anxiety disorder. We only call it anxiety disorder if it's when the stress level or the anxiety symptoms are too much until it interferes with our life. Under major depressive disorder, we have things like major depression, bipolar disorder, and other mood disorder. You still remember in last week's sharing, I mentioned that mindfulness training is good, is useful to reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce depression, to help us to cope with anxiety disorder and major depressive disorder. So it doesn't matter which one we are experiencing, there's a role of mindfulness training. Some of you may ask, in fact, under the Slido system, the one question is asked, what is the mechanism of mindfulness? Yeah, so the person will ask the question, yeah, mindfulness is good to reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce depression. But the person asks, what is the mechanism actually? How does it work? There are a few ways that how mindfulness works. One of them is mindfulness helps us to pay attention in the present moment. So when we focus our attention in the present moment, there's less chance for us to worry excessively about the future or regret about the past. So that it helps us to improve our mental health. Second thing, mindfulness helps us to appreciate the present moment. So we are more grateful, more contented. We value the present moment. We value relationship more. So that helps with the mental health. Of course, when we are mindful, when we focus in whatever we do, we also we tend to make less minor mistake. So that's also another mechanism of action on how mindfulness can improve mental health and increase wellness. Okay, this is a book I written on the depression. The book I written on depression is called I'm Still Human, Understanding Depression with Kindness. The main focus on depression, but also talks a little bit about anxiety. So for those of you who want to know more about depression, this is not a talk on depression. This is a talk about stress management from mindfulness point of view. So I won't be talking too detailed about depression. But you want to find out more, feel free to scan this QR code or go to this link, then you get access to the ebook free. Okay. So choose read to me, then I'll answer.
Okay. Question asked by Lim. Thank you, Dr. Pang, for sharing. May I know how to gauge our stress level, whether low, medium, or high?
There is no standard method. It's all up to you. It's a very subjective thing. Of course, based on those symptoms, based on your signature stress symptom. The 4 categories of stress symptom. So you have to identify which are your signature stress symptom. And from there, you subjectively classify it under low, medium, or high. Yeah, so it's subjective. You don't have to tell other people. It's just for yourself to be aware and classify them according to low, medium, and high.
All right, thanks, Dr. Pang.
Okay, next one.
So next question will be how to help an adolescent age 20 for her stress or anxiety. All the signature stress symptoms are all in.
How to help? Good. You can actually share this course with the adolescent. Or we are doing the recording. Later we will upload all this online. So you can share this course with your friend, your friend or your friend's daughter. The method, of course, we start with, everything starts with awareness. Awareness of the stress symptom. Then after we are aware, of course, we have to learn to cope with it. In this program, we will teach you various methods. Last week, we learned the mindful body stretching. Mindful body stretching is very good to reduce muscular tension, more of the stress symptom under the category of body. And today, in part 2, we're going to learn mindful breathing. Another method is good for calming the mind. Yeah. Next one.
Okay, next one. If a person copes with stress by eating a lot of chocolate, how can we change that? Or is keeping part of it actually healthy coping?
Is it healthy coping? If it's a little bit of chocolate, no problem. Actually, chocolate has there's certain compound in chocolate, certain chemicals that will help us to feel relaxed and feel good. But I think it's safer if we have more than one method. Instead of just chocolate. Method number 1, chocolate. Method number 2, chocolate. Method number 3, also chocolate. Not very reliable. So it's better to, of course, you can use chocolate as long as you don't overeat, eat mindfully. At the same time, learn other methods like mindful body stretching or mindful breathing. Yeah.
Okay.
Next one.
The next one, how do you know that stress has progressed to anxiety disorder and or depression?
Very good question. Okay, the keyword is functional impairment. That's the keyword, functional impairment. So if the stress is so much until it impairs our function. Function means that we do on the daily basis. Okay, if you are a student, the main function is to study. If you are the adult, is more working. If a homemaker is taking care of the household. So when stress affects our ability to function, then it becomes either anxiety disorder or depressive disorder. Let me give you an example of the students that I often see in my setting. I work in Sunway Medical Center. So around my place, they are the Taylor student, Sunway student, Monash student. These are the 3 universities which are around my clinic. So I see a lot of students with stress, anxiety, and depression. So how do I differentiate whether they have stress, anxiety, or depression? If they only have stress, I mean exam stress, career choice stress, family stress, but somehow they can still study stress, but they can still study, that is just stress. But if the stress is so bad until they fall sick frequently, until they have to defer their studies, until it affects their relationship with their friends and their family member, and then it becomes either anxiety disorder or depressive disorder.
Thanks, Dr. Pham. The last question is, when someone is talkative, can this action help to alleviate stress?
When someone is talkative, I suppose for someone who is talkative, the person needs to express the stress. So this can be one way, but sometimes it's not easy to find someone to able to talk to, For the person who is using talking to express stress, of course, it's useful, but it may not be reliable in the sense that we cannot get someone to talk to us all the time. So my suggestion is, yes, nothing wrong with coping by talking if your personality is like to talk, but it's also good to learn other methods like mindful body stretching, mindful breathing, so that we have an alternative method. And furthermore, with mindful body stretching and breathing, and we talk also, we can be more organized when we talk.
Okay, Dr. Pham, do you still have time to answer few more questions?
Okay, no problem.
Okay, the next question is, good afternoon, Dr. Pham. May I know how to overcome excessive stress among students? They face a lot of stress from many sources.
Mindfulness. So in this course, we're going to teach many mindfulness-based exercises to help students with stress. And all the exercises I teach, they are evidence-based, because when I started the program, actually I use it among medical students in UPM. So medical students, doctors to be, they experience a lot of stress. So the program we are attending has been scientifically shown to help students to reduce stress. So last week you learned mindful body stretching, you can share with the students. Today you're going to learn mindful breathing, you can share with them. And many more lessons to come, you can share with them as well. Next.
All right, the next question is, does the perception that stress affects health matter? The association with health and mortality, the findings.
Does the perception that stress affects health matter? I'm not too clear of the question. Since I cannot clarify, I just try my best to answer. Perception of stress, yes. It's how we perceive stress. For example, some people, especially those with anxiety disorder, they are also too kanchong, a little bit stressed. They worry about the stress and they get worry. If people change the perception of stress, that stress actually can be normal. Stress not necessarily bad. Stress can be normal. In fact, stress can be helpful for productivity. Then the person doesn't catastrophize the stress. Then that's good. If the person catastrophizes a normal stress reaction, then things become worse. Next.
Okay, the next question will be, who perceived that stress affects their health and reported a large amount of stress had an increased risk of premature death. Dr. Pang, what do you think?
Yes, totally agree. Stress can kill. Stress is not only the causing discomfort and sakit, stress can kill. With stress, there's an increased risk of heart attack, increased risk of stroke, increased risk of mental health disorder like depression. Yeah, stress can kill. Premature death. Totally agree. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Pang. The next one. What are the MindFulGym tools can use to overcome fear to calm down, whereby the person need to speak in front of public crowd, do presentation for clients?
Good. Mindful breathing, which we're going to learn after this. Mindful breathing.
Okay. Yeah. The last one, if someone experiences palpitation, difficult to fall asleep, and less appetite, how can we know it is either anxiety or depression?
Good questions. The anxiety symptoms and depression symptoms, sometimes they overlap. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to tell. For palpitation is usually more of anxiety. Difficulty to fall asleep can be anxiety and depression.
Okay.
So generally it's about the same. But for depression, it's more of early hour awakening. That means can fall asleep but wake up very early. That's more common in depression. Whereas for anxiety, it's more difficult in falling asleep. But both also sleep related. One is difficulty in falling asleep. One is difficulty in sustaining the sleep. The person wakes up very early. Less appetite can happen in both anxiety and depression.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Pang. That's all.
That's all.
Can I pass back the floor to you?
May I know what's the time now?
Now.
Very good. So there's a trick question. In MindFulGym program, the time now is always now, because mindfulness is about focusing on the present moment.
Okay.
So I suggest we take a break. We take a 5 minutes break, and then we come back for part 2. So in the mindful breathing practice, we calm the mind by paying mindful attention to breathing. Everything in mindfulness is about paying attention. It's always attention. It's just a matter of where we put the attention more. So in mindful body stretching, we put the attention more on bodily sensation. In mindful breathing, we are putting the attention on the breathing process. So this method works by mindful breathing, helps to calm the mind by activating the vagus nerve in the body. Vagus nerve is the nerve for relaxation. Remember earlier I showed one slide about activation of the sympathetic nervous system. So I said when we are under a lot of stress, high stress, the sympathetic nervous system will be activated. Sympathetic nervous system is the fight and flight nervous system. Vagus nerve is the opposite. Vagus nerve is the parasympathetic nervous system, is for relaxation. So when we practice mindful breathing, we are activating the vagus nerve. In other words, we are activating the relaxation response in the body. And this explains why mindful breathing is very, very effective for calming the mind. So when do we practice mindful breathing? When is mindful breathing useful? The indications are more or less like mindful body stretching. They are more or less the same in terms of how we use the exercises. But mindful body stretching is more effective for physical tension, whereas the mindful breathing is for mindful tension. If you can combine them, it'll be very, very, very useful. Yeah. So how do we do mindful breathing? There are many, many, many ways. There are many ways to do mindful breathing. I will show you at least 4 or 5 ways today. The reason we want to share with you various methods so that you can try it out and see which one works better for you. There is no best method. There is no best mindfulness practice, but we have a variety of methods so that you can try it out and see which one is best for you. So the first one, I call it slow, deep, and mindful breathing, Qigong style. So how do we do mindful breathing, Qigong style? We're going to watch this video together. As you are watching, you may practice along. Just follow me and just practice along. Of course, when you practice, pay attention to the challenges you have, and whatever challenges, feel free to ask during the Q&A session later. Mindful breathing, Qigong style. Okay, so that's mindful breathing, Qigong style. Let me elaborate a bit. Okay. As we are breathing in, when we breathe in, we actually breathe in through the nose and we tilt the head up. So this way, breathe in. Okay, breathe in through the nose, tilt the head up. Okay, this is very important because when we tilt the head up, we are opening up the airway. It opens up the airway. It's easier for us to breathe in. Okay, some people they ask, is it necessary to raise the hand? Actually, it's not necessary. It's not a must. But raising the hand has the advantage of helping us to focus. Because if there is no movement, very often when we breathe in and out, our mind will be wandering, we'll be thinking. So elevating your hand helps to focus, but it's not a must. But I find that the part which involves tilting the head, I find that is very important because it opens up the airway. Breathe in through the nose. Okay. And we breathe out through the mouth with the sound of relief. The sound of relief is very important. Actually, it conditions our mind to relax and try to make the out breath longer than the in breath. Out breath longer than the in breath, and that helps to enhance the relaxation response. So breathe in, out longer. Okay. And it's very important when we breathe in, it's important to smile. Be kindful, be gentle, be graceful. Breathe in. Breathe in, smile. Smile. Okay, remember in mindfulness training, mindfulness always comes with kindness. In mindfulness, there is kindness, there's gentleness. Of course, focus on the present moment. As we're breathing in and out, focus in the present moment. And the present moment in this context is the movement and the sensations associated with breathing. So this movement is part of breathing. Then the body sensations, the hand sensation, the breathing sensation, they're all part and parcel of the breathing. So that is the focus. Of course, we can try to be playful, apply beginner's mind. We can use some imagery. As we breathe in, we imagine smelling a flower. As we breathe out, imagine blowing the leaf. Okay. So what's the difference between mindful breathing and mindless breathing? So this is very important. Not all breathing is mindful breathing. Not all breathing is mindful breathing. In order for a practice to be considered as mindful breathing, the four main principles of mindfulness are present moment attention, kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. All four has to be in. So let me elaborate. Okay, attention part basically is focusing on the breathing process. Focusing. The opposite of it, mindless breathing and mindless breathing, as we're breathing in and out, we are thinking about the future, we're worrying about the future, thinking of what we're going to do after the course, what we're going to cook tonight. That is still breathing, but it's not mindful breathing, it's mindless breathing. Kindness, okay, when we do the breathing, remember to smile. Smiling is a way to express kindness. And we remind ourselves we're breathing in and out to relax the body, to calm the mind, to comfort ourselves. So we do it with gentleness, with gratefulness, and with kindness. So sometimes mindful breathing, we also call it kindful breathing. Actually, by right, mindfulness, the kindness component is always there. Sometimes people overlook the kindness component. That's why sometimes we have to come up with another term. We call it kindful breathing, just to highlight the kindness component of mindfulness. Then we have a beginner's mind. Beginner's mind means try to be curious, be adventurous, be playful when we practice mindful breathing. So of course we have some guidance for you. Just now I'm giving you the guidance, but whatever suggestions we give might not work for you. So we encourage you to go back and try it yourself, and then you adjust it according to your needs. And we have a few more methods. The mindful breathing Qigong style is only one of the methods. Later we have the Valentine Style, and we have various methods. So we encourage you to go and try. Mix, modify, match according to your needs. That is how we apply beginner's mind in mindful breathing. So it's not fixed. We encourage you to be flexible. And of course, wisdom. Wisdom is understanding the practice, understanding the instructions, understanding how to modify the method, mix it, and try different way to suit your situation, because the different people practice mindful breathing for different purpose. Some are using it for insomnia, some are using it for public speaking fear, some are using it for panic attack, different situation. Wisdom is understanding how to apply the mindful breathing method in your own specific situation. Okay, kindful breathing, in case you missed this word I mentioned just now. I think last week a few of you were a little bit confused. Somebody asked about the difference between mindful breathing and kindful breathing. Actually, they are the same thing. The original word is mindful breathing. Mindful breathing include all four parts. It's because over the years when we teach mindfulness, we notice that when people practice mindfulness, although we remind them again on kindness, people are still very tense up. They have difficulty in smiling. That's why we coin this term mindful breathing. We coin this term mindful breathing, which we borrowed from a meditation teacher, Ajahn Brahm. He actually coined it. I didn't come up with this word, but I borrowed this word to help to emphasize the importance of applying kindness, gentleness, compassion when we do the mindful breathing process. Okay, so this is another method of practicing mindful breathing. Yeah, so there are many ways to practice mindful breathing. If you don't like the Qigong style, we have a second method. This is called the Valentine Style. So how to do slow, deep mindful breathing, Valentine Style. We'll watch this video. Feel free to follow, practice together. So that's mindful breathing, Valentine Style. Yeah. So go back and try, see whether you prefer the Qigong style or you prefer the Valentine Style. Maybe certain situation you like the Qigong style, certain situation you like the Valentine Style. So you can practice any of it depending on the situation. We can also combine the mindful stretching, which we learned last week, and the mindful breathing, which we learned today. So we can combine, we can mix. Okay, how do we do that? There are two methods. One is simultaneous. Sorry, the one is simultaneous. I show this slide. Okay, there are two ways to combine mindful stretching and breathing. So first one is simultaneous. The other one is sequential. One is simultaneous, one is sequential. What's the difference? Okay, for simultaneous, this is how we do it. For example, in the tortoise style, so the mindful body stretching tortoise style, so I will do it this way. So I breathe in, then I breathe out. Okay, I breathe in, then I breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so you notice that I dropped the counting. Okay, in the original mindful body stretching, there was counting, no breathing involved. So it's the original, the mindful body stretching, the one we learned last week, is only counting. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we drop. But we combine it with mindful breathing. We drop the counting, you just breathe in, then we breathe out. Same goes for the Superman style. So we breathe in. So we don't count. Then we breathe out. Okay. Same for push the ceiling. So we push the ceiling, breathe in, and we breathe out. Okay, and we can do the same for all the other 10 mindful body stretching postures. So this is called combined mindful breathing and stretching simultaneous because it's together, stretching and breathing. Okay, there's another method. This is more of sequential. In sequential, we practice the mindful body stretching first. For example, we do the mindful facial stretching, which is A, E, O, then followed by breathing. Okay, then we go for mindful body stretching for the head and neck. Example, the tortoise, Superman, and push the ceiling. Okay, and then we repeat the mindful breathing. Okay, then we can do the mindful body stretching for the lower parts of body, followed by breathing again. And of course, also the massage, the tapping, twisting, the massage, followed by another mindful breathing 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So it is combined stretching and breathing sequentially, one after the other. So which one is the best? Again, there's no best. So we invite you to try it out with beginner's mind. Do it simultaneously, do it sequentially. The breathing part can be the Qigong part, it can be the Valentine Style. So we leave it to you to try. Okay. We can also do mindful breathing, animation guided mindful breathing. Can you see the box moving? Can I? I think I see. Yeah. So we can sync our breathing with the movement of the box. So this is breathe. Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. You can also imagine the box as though the box is your tummy. The box is your tummy, because you cannot see my tummy, but imagine the box is your tummy. So if I breathe in, the box expands, the tummy also expands. Breathe in, the box expands, the tummy also expands. Okay, so can we try it out for about a minute? We tried it out. And apply some beginner's mind. Try to be playful as you breathe in. You can imagine you are smelling the flowers, and when you breathe out, you blow the leaf. So we try it out for a minute. Okay. So that's mindful breathing, box animation guided. So feel free to try different methods. As I said, no one is the best. We encourage you to experiment, play around. Yeah. To be mindful is easy. I think so far the exercises I've taught you, the mindful body stretching, the mindful breathing, they are not that difficult to do. They're quite easy to do. So that's why I say to be mindful is easy, but remembering to be mindful, that's very difficult. Remembering to be mindful is very difficult. In order to make it easier for you, I suggest that you install this free app known as MindBell. Okay, you can scan this QR code. Then you can install this MindBell. This is for the Android system. For those of you who are using the iOS system, we have another one for you afterwards. Okay, basically you can install this app, and you can program the app to ring a bell sound. Ring a bell sound like this. Artificially, not using the actual bell like this, but it's going to sound something like this. So you can program the app to ring a bell sound at certain interval. For example, every 3 hours. So every 3 hours, you hear the sound, ding. Then we pause for a while to take a mindful breath. Okay, and then we just continue our work. So continue with studies, continue the work. Okay, then after about 3 hours, you're going to hear the alarm again. Ding. Again, we pause for a while, we take a deep breath. Okay. Whether you want to do the Qigong style, the Valentine style, the box animation guided, or whatever method, is up to you. So it's a skillful way to remind us to take pause throughout the day to practice mindful breathing. So that is for Android system. This one is for iOS, for iPhone. For iPhone, you have you can use this app. Okay. Last week, I remember somebody asked me how to practice mindfulness for sleep purpose. For those who are having insomnia, we can also apply mindful breathing. But I suggest you do the stretching first. Do the mindful body stretching, then followed by this mindful breathing to be done on the bed. So mindful breathing on the bed. So how we're going to do it? So it's mindful breathing on the bed. I also call it body grounding. Body grounding. I'm going to show you. Okay. In body grounding. Okay. So while lying down on the bed, we breathe in. Breathe in. Okay. When we breathe out, you imagine we are falling into the bed, falling asleep. When we breathe out, we imagine you're falling into the bed in this way. So when you breathe out, we let go of the tension and imagine you're falling into the bed. Okay? Then breathe in again. Then breathe out. Okay? Imagine we're sinking into the bed. We can also do some counting, So initially we started with 10, then with 9. Okay? Breathe in again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Say in our heart, 8. So we are sleeping. No need to say it aloud. Just say in our heart, 8. So we continue to count down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Seven. Breathe in. Breathe out. 6. If you're already asleep, no need to continue the counting. Just let go of the counting. But if you're still not asleep yet, then you continue the counting. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe in. 3. Breathe in. 2. Breathe in. 1. And good night. Yeah, so that's how we can practice mindful breathing on the bed to help us to fall asleep. Okay, before we go to the live FAQ, I would like to go through some common FAQ first. Common FAQ before I attend to your question through the Slido system. Yeah. So the first FAQ is, should I close my eyes or count? Should I close my eyes or should I count? Actually, two related questions, 1A, 1B. Should I close my eye? Depending on the situation. If you are practicing mindful breathing on the bed for sleep purpose, of course, by all means, close the eyes. But if you are practicing mindful breathing throughout the day, on and off, just to calm the mind, it's not necessary to close the eyes. It's not a must. But if you think closing the eyes help you to focus, by all means. So there's no right and wrong. But definitely for sleep purpose, of course, you have to close the eyes. Do we need to count or no need to count? Again, it all depends on your needs. Some people counting help them to focus. For some people, counting actually is distracting to them. So again, which is right, is wrong. We invite you to go back and try with the beginner's mind and see which one works better for you. What if I take deep breath and makes you feel uncomfortable? This is so common. So some people, especially those with panic attack, history of panic attack, with anxiety disorder, there's a tendency of taking deep breath may actually make situation worse. Okay, I have a few suggestions if you're one of those with such kind of experience. The first one is consider just practice mindful body stretching without mindful breathing. So there's one option. It's still practicing mindfulness, just different too. First option, just mindful body stretching without mindful breathing. First option. Okay. Second option is when you're doing the mindful breathing, don't focus too much on taking the deep breath. Don't focus too much on taking the deep breath. Focus more on the out breath. Don't focus so much on the in breath. Focus more on the out breath. Let the out breath be longer and do it with the sound of relief. Okay, that's the second option. Okay, another option is start with mindful body stretching. Then followed by mindful breathing. But in the mindful breathing, instead of making it slow and deep, just breathe normally. Just breathe easily. Just note the in-breath and out-breath without changing it in any way. So you no need to tell yourself, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. No need. Just breathe naturally, breathe normally, breathe easily, and let the breath come to you. You just take note of the breathing process. No need to change it in another way. So these are a few adjustments you can do if you feel uncomfortable or feel more nervous when you practice mindful breathing. Okay, so with this, I will stop here to open for discussion and Q&A.
Yeah, there are many questions posted.
Oh, good. I'll try my best. If there's not enough time, I will answer through the Slido system. You can also access to the answer through Slido as well. But I will try my best to answer.
Okay. First question. Will the mind bell distract us from our work, especially when we are super focused or attentive in the work?
Yes, the answer is yeah, it can distract us from our work. So what I do is I adjust the volume and interval. So the app is quite good. We can adjust the volume. I notice when it's too loud, it's very distracting. But I reduce the volume. Is soft, soft enough to remind me, but it's not distracting. So I adjust the volume. That is less distracting. Another way, another suggestion is adjust the interval. So you don't want to do it every half an hour. Every half an hour, pause. It's too frequent and very distracting. So I suggest the interval for a start. I suggest an interval of 2 to 3 hours. Start with 2 to 3 hours, and then you adjust accordingly. So apply beginner's mind. Try it out for yourself. Modify, mix, match your needs. Next.
Okay, next question is, thank you, Dr. Pang. Do you think mindfulness breathing with awareness of body sensation helps better? Thank you.
In mindful breathing, there is body awareness. They are the same thing. From mindfulness point of view, the breath is the body. This is a very important fact. From mindfulness point of view, the breath is part of the body. So in the breathing itself, my hands are moving up and down. The hand is part of the body. Okay? In the mindful breathing, when I'm moving my hand, I feel my body sensation, my hand sensation. That's also part of the body. So mindfulness of breath and mindfulness of body and mindfulness of body sensation, they are all the same thing.
Okay. The next question, Dr. Pang, is it better to sit upright, back straight, or can we lean back during mindful breathing? Does sitting upright help us breathe better? Thank you.
Good question. There is no absolute right and wrong. The guiding principle is adjust your body so that you feel comfortable. Adjust your body so that your body feels comfortable. Okay. The important point is your body, not my body, not other people's body. And different body have different needs. For some people, they prefer to sit upright. For some people, they prefer to sit upright and hug a pillow. Some people, they need to hug a pillow. Some people need to put the pillow behind. Sometimes I like to lie down on the floor. I don't like to be in a sitting position. I like to lie down on the floor. Sometimes I like to lie down on the couch. Of course, when I'm very busy in my clinic, I can't afford to lie down or sit. I actually do the mindful breathing while walking. While I'm having a toilet break, while walking, I do the mindful breathing. So customize it according to your needs. Follow your body's wisdom.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Pang. Next question is, my heart was palpitating when doing the mindful breathing. Will it go away as I practice more? Definitely.
So remember just now one of the frequently asked questions, for some people, they feel uncomfortable. So I just recap the 3 methods is consider doing mindful body stretching first. Maybe you don't need the mindful breathing. Okay. Or if you do the mindful breathing, focus more on the out breath instead of the in breath. Yeah, so you can try this method. Actually, there's another method. Especially this is the extension of the first one. Do the stretching followed by breathing. When you do the stretching, you can do the breathing together. For example, for the stretching, there's one called the squeeze. Squeeze the oranges, clench your fist. So you can do it this way. Breathe in, Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, focus more on the out breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. Sometimes the palpitation, because we focus too much on the in breath, it's like breathe in. I noticed when you focus too much on the in breath and too forceful, it leads to palpitation. So no need to focus so much on the in breath. Just breathe in. Focus more on the out breath. Breathe in. Try that out.
Okay, thanks. Next question is, when I did the kindful breathing, I yawn many times. It happens sometimes too when I do yoga. Is it normal or anything to be done? I have 6 to 7 hours sleep daily.
It's normal. Yawning is a sign of relaxation. It's normal. Yawning is a sign of relaxation. That means the vagus nerve is activated. The parasympathetic nervous system is activated. So that's a good sign. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is my toddler refused to do deep breath. Can I teach him or her mindfulness without deep breathing?
Of course, you can try the mindful body stretching. I think kids, they prefer doing the tortoise, Superman, push the ceiling. So I think we need to adjust our mindset. I think a lot of people have this perception that mindfulness means meditation, breathing meditation. I think in last week, I tried to clarify there are many ways to practice mindfulness. If you don't like mindful breathing, you can go mindful body stretching. And even within mindful breathing, there are many types. Actually, one of our past participant, Sister Hu, she has compiled a YouTube list on mindful breathing specifically for children. So there are a lot of modifications of mindful breathing specifically for children. We can send that to you through the MindfulGym Telegram and also the mailing list. Yeah.
Okay, the next questions. Hi, Dr. Pang. My focus will on my tummy tightness when during mindful breathing. What should I do?
Yeah, focus on the tummy tightness and the tummy relaxation. So when we breathe in, you imagine the tummy like a balloon. So we breathe in, the tummy will expand. So we feel the tightness. Okay. Then when we breathe out, feel the relaxation. Okay. When you breathe in, the tummy will tighten. When you breathe out, okay. I find it for my body. I'm not sure about your body. For my body, I notice when I do this while I'm lying down, it works better for me. So I invite you to try it out with the spirit of beginner's mind. Yeah.
Okay, next question. I noticed stress symptoms in a family member, yet she refused to acknowledge or learn mindful ways to manage the anxiety. Would like to hear Dr. Pang's suggestions.
When people are not ready, it's very difficult to help them. So I suggest let it be for the moment. Okay. So one way is let it be until the person is ready. Maybe the second one is instead of telling the person to practice mindfulness, we practice in the house. So we do the mindful body stretching, we do the mindful breathing. Sometimes the person might be curious, then the person might join us. That's the second method.
Okay. Dr. Pang, I am still human. Sometimes it's the stigma of people or people don't understand me, make me think a lot, worry, feel low, hope, cope. Any example?
Let me read the question again. I'm still human. Sometimes there's a stigma of people or people don't understand me a lot. Hope to cope, example. I'm not too clear of the question. And in this system, we cannot clarify it's okay. So I'll try my best to answer that. Yeah, it is true for people suffering from depression, anxiety, there's a lot of social stigma. So dealing with the illness itself is already painful. Dealing with the social stigma will make things worse. I think one of the way is meeting someone who went through the same experience, meeting someone who also experienced anxiety, depression, also experiencing the stigma, that might help to overcome the sense of isolation and sense of loneliness. By the way, the book I'm Still Human, I'm not the only author of the book. I actually co-author this book with my co-host, Sister Jasmine. Yeah. So for the person asking this question, maybe you want to talk to Sister Jasmine, who went through anxiety, depression, also went through the stigma. So knowing that you are not alone, maybe that will help you to reduce the sense of isolation associated with stigma. Next.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Pang. The next question, dear Dr. Pang, the MindfulGym skill taught in this class are too difficult for kids to pick up. Which skill is more suitable for the kids below 10-year-old?
Can teach mindful body stretching. Of course, for all the exercises, we have to adjust it. For example, we don't teach a kid below 10 years old mindful body stretching all the 10 postures. We can start with lesson 1 only tortoise, Superman, and push the ceiling. That's all. Only 3 postures. Once they are familiar with that, then we teach another 3. So step by step, cannot teach all 10 at one time. Okay. Then for the mindful breathing, we can adjust it. So sometimes you do ask kids to do mindful breathing Qigong style, they don't like it. They associate with Qigong or with the elderly uncle, auntie, you know. So that might not be the skillful way. But you can teach that alternative method. You teach them doing mindful breathing while lying on the floor. And then you ask them to put a pillow on their tummy. Okay, and ask them to breathe in and breathe out so that the pillow will move up and down and up and down and up and down. Yeah. So be creative, modify the techniques. Yeah.
Okay.
Kids definitely can learn. It's just that we need to be creative to modify it according to the age group. Yeah.
All right. The next question is why our body feel jerking or electric sensation for 5 to 6 hours when falling asleep. How do we proceed?
That is often associated with stress. Often associated with stress. So I suggest do mindful body stretching and mindful breathing on the bed before sleep. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Before sleep.
Okay. I think we have 2 more.
Yeah.
My girl and me not in talking term. How to help her age 20 on her stress and anxiety? How to get her to talk to appropriate channel or person, vice versa?
My suggestion is help ourselves first. Help ourselves first. This is a common problem I encounter. A lot of people want to help other people. We want to help our brothers, help our sister, help our patient, help our father, help our mother, help our relative, help our uncle, help our auntie. But very often in life, people are not ready. So people are not ready. So when people are not ready, we try too hard to change people. Then we are converting our stress into suffering. Remember just now I have a slide. I said stress is unavoidable. I mean the stress of people don't listen to us. I mean all of us experience that. We have an uncle, auntie, father, mother, brother, sisters, or people who don't listen to us. That is unavoidable. That's part and parcel of life. But if we resist that, we still try, even though we have tried various methods, it still doesn't work. Then we are converting the stress into suffering. So my suggestion is still come back to us. Practice mindful body stretching, practice mindful breathing. When our body is relaxed, the mind is calm, then we can come up with creative solutions. So don't try too hard. Don't try too hard. Yeah, focus ourselves, relax, be mindful, be calm, and then creative solutions will come.
Okay, the last question, Dr. Pang. My panic attack happens almost every day recently due to the pandemic of COVID. It caused me need to take Xanax 3 to 4 times in a day. Anything can do to get well?
Very good. Combine Xanax with mindfulness practice. Combine Xanax with mindfulness practice. Yeah, I use Xanax in my clinic as well. I also teach mindfulness as well. So my observation, which is supported by scientific evidence, when we combine Xanax with mindfulness practice, that has the best outcome. Yeah.
Okay, that's all, Dr. Pang, for today's questions.
A lot of very good questions.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you have more questions, you can still continue to submit your question. I will either respond to you through the Slido system or respond to your question in the next lesson next week. Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Pang.
What's the time now?
Now,
very good. Mindfulness is always about present moment now. Okay.
yes.
Now we're going to have sharing from our past graduates. So in this group, not all are new students, Some are past graduates who have been learning mindfulness with me for the past 10 years. So as part of the mindfulness training, we invite the graduates to share their experience on how they apply various mindfulness exercises to cope with their stress in life. So we have at least one today. So you'll be sharing by Miss Eckers, Sister Eckers. Eckers, are you ready? Eckers, are you there? Jasmine, is Eckers in the group?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember Eckers from which group? I also forgot.
The latest one. Batch 20.
20, we have been running the MindfulGym program for the last 10 years, 2 to 3 batches per year. Yeah, you can't unmute yourself. Okay, Jasmine, we have to unmute her.
Already? Hey, I'm in.
Oh, yeah, in. Okay.
Can you hear me clearly, everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear, but I cannot see.
All right. Suddenly, you want to see me? No need lah. Make me more panic. Okay, so suddenly just now I was not able to unmute myself. I feel that my heart started to pump. Okay, so now let me take a few deep breaths.
Come take together.
Okay, so today I would like to share about just now Dr. Pang mentioned about the mind mirror, our thoughts, feelings, body, and behavior. First of all, let me share about my story, the situation, so that I can use that situation to relate to you all. So the story is about one incident. My stepmother, she suddenly had a panic attack, I guess. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, it's heart attack. It was heart attack or panic attack. But that time she told me that she can't breathe properly and she almost wanted to faint and her face went pale. So I was panicked as well at the same time because I pick up energy, I pick up other people's feelings as well. So immediately at that time, I have to actually ground myself. The first tool that I used was breathing. I quickly breathe myself and also together pair it with my palm. I use my hand, my palms to place it on my chest. This is how I actually calm myself because I find it very useful when I place my palm on my chest. My heart will start to calm down. So I calm down myself first. Then immediately I attend to her because at that time it's only me and my stepmother. So I don't know what to do as well. It was first incident. So I quickly asked her to do breathing together with me. So she was breathing, and I can see that she was perspiring as well. Then after that, I was panicked, and I also don't know, should I call somebody? Should I attend to her? At the moment, my breathing actually helped me to ground myself. Eventually, I know what to do at that time first. First of all, I calm her down. So the breathing calmed her down as well. Immediately, I quickly grab her hands and massage her finger, press her finger, each of her fingers, and massage her legs as well. Because I heard before, I'm not a doctor, I heard before when somebody is like almost going to faint or having difficulty, you have to massage their hands or feet. So I did that and asked her to breathe. At the same time, she still feels the same thing. Then I said, what about cough loudly? Then she followed me aside and she coughed loudly. We both coughed together. So after that, she felt suddenly, she was calmed down. And then only I proceed to another action by quickly call to my god sister, ask her to take, can you please help me to Google how to attend to this situation, because that time I also need to calm myself down. Please, you do something first, I'll get back to you. So I try to calm myself and continue to observe my stepmother's situation. Then after that, when I was calmer, then call my god sister. My god sister told me the procedure, this is how it goes. So until everything is settled down, only I sent her to the hospital. So this was my story. So talking about how, when I reflected back, how did I use the mind mirror to go, how was my mind mirror at that time? That time, talk about mind mirror, my thought was, the first instant, is she going to die? That makes me even nervous. Is she going to die? What am I going to do? I don't know anything. So after that, then immediately the breathing actually calmed me down. And then I'll be able to change my thoughts to, it's fine. She is fine. She's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. And immediately I saw my behavior and my tone of voice actually told her that it's okay. You are going to be fine. Just follow after me, even though I'm not a doctor. Then she actually followed after me. And the way that I behave actually made a great impact to that person as well. So my feeling immediately calmed down and know what to do. So yeah. So what have I done at that time? Also, I slowed down everything. If I rushed, I couldn't be able to ground myself as well. So I slow down myself, go through the process, yeah, and also most importantly, when I breathe, and also notice that when I breathe with a smile, it's really helped tremendously, because the smile would turn my negative thoughts into positive. Yeah, that's all I can share. That's all I must share today.
Thank you, Agus.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. So the best in your practice. Other graduates, anybody wants to share before I start to give homework? Yeah.
So I think Brandon is in.
Kan, are you in, Brandon? Brandon Kan. Hi, Kan. Are you there?
Yes, he's here.
Oh, wonderful.
Hello.
Yes, hi, Kan.
Hi, Kan.
Hi, Jasmine, Dr. Pang. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So can you share with us how you
Okay.
use mindfulness?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is third year since I last.
Can't hear you clearly, Kan.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I repeat. I think this is the third year. I'm not mistaken. Since I last joined the Mindful Gym, still. remembering to pay attention to the present moment experience with kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom. Kindness, beginner's mind, and wisdom is very important. So, especially beginner's mind. So far, like Dr. Pang always mentioned, all the tools that he taught that we actually can modify and to suit our needs. So I've been exploring. At the moment, the tools that I use the most is nowing, because I'm the type of person who like to, thinking a lot, especially the work, the problem. And every morning when I woke up, I'll have sort of some panic attack. So what I'm practicing now is every morning after I woke up, I will use I will switch on the SoundCloud of Dr. Pang's deepening the down, the 10 minutes mindful breathing. So from there, I can, I managed to anchor my attention through hearing, HTC, hearing, touching, and seeing. So via hearing, I anchor my attention and get myself prepared to work. Along the way, I continue to switch on to listen repeatedly the deepening the down tracks, and so that I can again try my best to anchor my attention to the present moment with kindness, beginner's mind, and with wisdom until I start my day at work. So this is what my current MP3, mindful MP3. So yeah. Yes, nowing is the tool that I find suit me the most at this point. But I will continue to explore with beginner's mind. For example, mindful walking. I use mindful walking methods during my exercise, mindful stretching during my badminton games. So yeah. All the tools to me is useful. All the tools are useful, but just that we need to more effort to explore which suits us most.
Good.
Our daily life or our work being a smooth one, more smoother. Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Kan. For those of you who are not sure what is this nowing, what is this HTC and mindful walking, no worries. Kan is very advanced. He has joined a few times already. Yeah. So if you are not you're not familiar with those terms, it's okay. It's sufficient to know that in MindfulGym program, we have many mindfulness exercises. So far, you have covered two main ones, the mindful body stretching and mindful breathing. Of course, also you have the StressMoMeter and the mindful mirror. A lot more coming soon. Yeah, so we hope you continue to join us in week 3, week 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And yeah, I'm sure you will benefit from those exercises. Okay.
Yes.
What's the time now, Jasmine?
Now.
Okay. So it's
I think we have one sharing in the chat box by Dr. T.
One chat box, Dr. T.
I did mindful breathing throughout my delivery process 6 years ago, and I was not on any painkiller for that labor pain.
What delivery? Delivering your baby? Yeah. I thought grab food delivery.
Great, Dr. T, well done.
Good. Thanks. Wow. Labor pain also boleh pakai. I have no experience. Dr. T will experience. Yeah. So what any more?
That's all. Shall we go? Shall we proceed to the home gym?
Okay, home gym. So home practice, mindful gym is only effective if you practice on a daily basis. Okay, so your home practice for this week, let me get a slide. Okay. So home practice got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the first one is the mindful StressMoMeter. Okay, basically just pause, take a break on and off throughout the day and ask, how does my mind feel? How does my body feel? How does my mind feel? How does my body feel? If it's stressed out, whether it's mild, moderate, or severe, that is high, medium, or low. Okay, that's the first one, quite straightforward. If you want to do a little bit more, number one is basic. You want to do a little bit more, then you can practice the mindful mind mirror, which is an extension of number one. It's not just understanding the stress level, but understanding the stress symptom and how they interact with past experience and how they arise. They are triggered by the various situations. So for those of you who want to practice a little bit more, then you go for the mind mirror. You think it's too much, then you just stick to number one. Mindful StressMoMeter. Just pause and be aware of the stress level. Okay. Then mindful body stretching and breathing together. Which format, I leave it to you. Whether you want to do it simultaneously, whether you want to do it sequentially, I leave it to you. But I suggest at least 1 or twice per day. Typically, I will do it in the morning. I will do it in the morning, body stretching 1 or twice per day. Maybe one more time in the evening. So twice a day. Then the last one is install the mind bell. Install the mind bell. Set the volume that you find it pleasing. Set I suggest 2 to 3 hours apart. 2 to 3 hours apart. So interval. Then whenever the mind bell rings, take a mindful breath. Just one breath will do. So this one practice throughout the day. Yeah. Last slide. As I said in the last week's session, it's good to keep a reflection diary. So for whatever mindfulness practice that you do on a daily basis, take note. Take note of what? Okay, notice the practice, what is helpful, what is not helpful, what are the challenges you have. Okay, then take note of how you can adapt the practice to suit your needs. Remember the 3M: modify, mix, and match. Modify the method, mix it with other mindfulness method, mix it with your other practice, match it according to your needs. So do the reflection. If you have any questions, you can submit to the Slido system. I'm happy to respond to your question and support you in your mindfulness practice. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay.